again with Matthew 6, verse 9. Show you the volume of all of it. Media. Shalom, Israel. Thanks for gathering together to keep another Sabbath lesson. Today's title of the lesson is Gave Sense and Caused Them to Understand the Reading. We're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer, starting with Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Again, thank y'all, everybody, coming together to keep the Sabbath, to just come together as the Lord commanded. You can have that chair, man. I'm going to start with the introduction. Shalom, Israel, and thank you for gathering together to enjoy another Sabbath lesson. According to GenesisWorldRecords.com, the Bible is the best-selling non-fiction book of all time, but it's also the most misunderstood. We will search the scriptures to give understanding to the stories and commandments we are required to keep. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his holy word. First scripture we're going to start off with is Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 73. '73. So the priests and the Levites, yes, let me give y'all a backdrop. This is a backdrop of a backdrop. Y'all gonna understand when we read the next chapter. So the priests and the Levites and the porters and the singers and some of the people of the Nethinims and all of Israel dwelt in the cities. Temple service. That ain't a word we see all the time. So we all know who the priests, we all know who the Levite is. The porters, they were like the gatekeepers. Singers and some of the people and the Nethinims, the people working in the temple. And all Israel dwelt in their cities. And when the 7th month came, the children of Israel were in their cities. I'm going to read chapter 8, 1 through 9. So, and all the people gathered themselves together. Why I read that chapter we just read? Because somebody will point right here to Nehemiah 8:1 and say all the people, like they go to see the whole world. When they see all the people could be anybody, right? So now we just read chapter 7 to find out who all the people were. So all the people gathered themselves together as one man in the street that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. So all the people was in the street. They asked them, bring out the laws of God. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the 7th month. So it was men and women there. It just wasn't male Israelites. Everybody wanted to hear the word of God. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning until midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive to the book of the law. So he read it until morning, until the midday, 12 o'clock. And Ezra the scribe stood upon the pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose. And beside him stood Mattathiah, and Shema, and Ananiah, and Uriah, and Hilkiah, and Messiah, and his right hand, on his right hand. So those were 6 of them that was sitting on the right of him, of Ezra. And his left hand, Pedaiah, and Mishael, and Malchiah, and Hashum, and Hashbaddanah, and Zechariah, or Zechariah, whichever one you want to pronounce, and Meshullam. So they was on the left of him.
What that sound like, church?
That sound like, what you say, man? Say it
That sound like church to me. That sound exactly like how church is set up. You got the pastor speaking. They said it's on the pulpit of wood. We know they call it a pulpit. And then you got all your deacons pretty much sitting next to you on the left and the right. So this is where they get this stuff from. Pull it straight from the Bible.
And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. Y'all see him at church, they don't be ground level. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. Don't they do that in my church today? And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God. And all the people answered, Amen, amen, with lifting up their hands. And they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord God with their faces to the ground. So that's another thing we gotta learn, man. God is almighty. We don't lift our heads up to God when we pray to God, man. We believe God. Look towards the ground. We ain't even worthy enough to look at God. When Moses was in the clouds speaking to Christ, Christ had his back turned to Moses. And Jeshua, and Benai, and Sherebiah, and Jamin, and Akub, and Shabbatai, and Hadijah, Masiah, Kalita, Azariah, Josabad, Hananan, Peliah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their place. So these are some of the names that we need to be naming our kids out. Not some basketball players and football players. These names got, first of all, if you click on the names got meaning. And when they was on the face of this earth, these people was out here doing what? Causing the people to understand the laws of God. So they read in the book, in the law of God distinctly. Showing, that's what I'm looking for, to show. They reading it, but they showing the people. And they gave them the sense and caused them to understand the read. And today, we all like, when I say we, the world like to quote books. I mean, not quote books, but quote scriptures. But they don't have understanding of the stuff that they're saying. For this is one example of it. No weapon shall form against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. If I hit you right now in the mouth, or hit you in the face and shoot you right now, you might die. Blood gonna come out of you. So that verse wasn't even talking about as in the form you in right now. That's talking about in the future tense. When the Most High give you that heavenly body, that spiritual body. No weapon in this world shall prosper. So we're gonna read verses and get them to understand. So we're gonna read Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. It says, why they hate us, why he hate us. We're gonna find out who the he is. (41 through 43). And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his fathers blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Esau hated his brother, his twin brother Jacob, because of the blessings that father bestowed upon him. The covenants, the promises, the election. He wanted all that. He had all of it, but he sold it for a morsel of meat. So now he mad at his, even though the Lord, not the Lord, well, it is a blessing from the Lord, but even though his father gave Esau a blessing in his own right, he wanted Jacob's blessing. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau as touching thee, do comfort himself, pursuing to kill thee. So mama got wind of it. She told her youngest son that, hey, your big brother is trying to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise, flee, thou to Laban, my brother to Haran. So go save your life. Go to your uncle go to your uncle Haran's house that's located in Laban. I'll pull out a map. See where Laban is. See, there go Haran right there. So it's way over there where that map is. That's a pretty long way, man. 550 miles. So Romans chapter 9, verse 4 through 5. This is why his brother hated. This is why Esau hated Jacob. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the law giving, and the services of God, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and whom, according to the flesh, Christ came. So Christ came for the Israelites. He didn't come for the all flesh of the world. Verse 4 proved it. Who is over all. God blessed forever. He blessed the Israelites forever. Amen.
Yeah, tell them. So when he says verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth, the word pertain means belong. So the Israelites, to them belongs the adoption, the glory, the covenants, not just covenant, but the covenants, plural. That's talking about the old covenant and the new covenant, because this is New Testament that we read in Romans. So it's showing you that even when Christ came and established a new covenant, he did that with the Israelites because it belonged to them. And the giving of the law, who did they give the laws to? Who did Moses give those laws to? The Israelites in the wilderness, in the service of God and the promises. So this is showing you that not everybody is included in those covenants. It was given to a certain people, and it never changed. Verse 5 tells you that Christ came according to the flesh for those people.
Who God bless forever. So your boy Esau was pretty upset about that, man. And we're going to see that it's still remaining to this day. Exodus chapter 17, 8 through 16. Exodus chapter 17, 8 through 16. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. So everybody know the story of the Israelites heading to the promised land. The first clue is we're reading in Exodus. So that's letting you know that's the part when they exited out of Egypt and they're trying to come into the land. So while we come into the land, guess who came to meet us to fight? Amalek. Who is Amalek? Probably of foreign origin. Amalek, a descendant of Esau. So Esau basically had some sons. The first sons of Esau is called the chief of Esau. So one of his main sons was Amalek. I think that was his first one. I gotta look it up. So we're gonna look on the map to find out where that was. What was the name of the Rephidim? There it go, right there on the map. You see where Egypt was. It's basically giving you the journey of how they came up. All of this, they went this way, came through, made it to right here to Rephidim. Who the Bible say came met us? Esau. That's the land of Edom right there. So they trying to cut us off because we gonna come up here. And if you read the story of, it wasn't Ruth. They go to Moabites when we went through that land and went up through the King's Highway. So they trying to cut us off before we even get to that land. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose out men and go fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and he fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. So Moses and Aaron, they wasn't out there fighting with the people. He said, go choose some warriors to go fight. It's like the president. You don't see the president out there fighting with the troops. They somewhere called giving orders. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. So basically, he put up his right hand in the air, and as long as he kept that right hand up high, Israel was winning. But imagine that you have to do that all day. Verse 12. Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. So the battle is a long time. A battle ain't gonna last a couple of minutes. His hand got tired, because remember, he couldn't just put his hand up. He had to keep it high for us to win. The more it go down, the more we would lose the battle. So they went and got a stone so they can put his hand under, so they can make sure it stay up high so we can win the fight. And Moses' hand, I'm going to read 12 again. No, there it is. I'm going to read to the semicolon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So, man, that's a long time. The sun go down here where we at around 8:30. So, two brothers, they put a stone under them, and they was on one side of each other, making sure he keep his hand up all day. And Joshua discomforted the Amaleks. Remember, Amalek is Esau. We know who Esau is to this day. So Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Say it up, man. Speak loud so they can hear you.
Click on the word utterly so we can know.
All right.
When he says he's going to utterly remove the remembrance, erase. He's going to blot it out, destroy it. That means totally, completely.
Wipe out.
He's wiping them out. He ain't going to leave nothing left. You got to remember these words, man. These words ain't just here just for play. When he say he's going to utterly destroy something, that's what he means.
So remember, Amalek's father, Esau, said what he was going to do, try to kill his brother Jacob. Now we're reading Jacob's seed is trying to go to the promised land. Amalek come out to try to stop it from going. So he said, I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So what's the title of the lesson again, y'all? Gave sense and caused them to understand the read. Somebody out here named Amalek that the Israelites gonna be going to war with from generation to generation. As long as you have kids out here, that's a generation. You might be the second generation, third, fourth generation, or whatever father you go back to. So as long as you're an Israelite, it's gonna be somebody out here that's from the tribe of Edom, Esau, Amalek, whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be warring with your people. Remember, they was warring in the womb. 2 nations shall be in thy womb. She asked, why are they fighting? What's the cause of this? So Exodus chapter 35, 1 through 15. And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said to them, these are the words which the Lord hath commanded, that ye should do. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be unto you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whoever doeth work therein shall be put to death.
Stop for a second. When he says 6 days shall thy work be done, but the 7th day there shall be to you an holy day. I don't think a lot of people know what the word holy means. A holy day means it's separate from all other days. It's not the same type of day as Sunday through Friday. It's something different that's going to be going on this day that's distinctly different from all those other days. What's the difference? It's a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. So we're supposed to rest and put down everything that all business and everything. It's separate. You go do your shopping, cooking, and all that work and all that other stuff Sunday through Friday. But on the 7th day, it's a holy day. It means it's a separate day from all those other days. You're not doing all of that. You dedicating this full day to the Lord and doing the Lord's work. So we need to remember that when you're saying something is a holy day, because a lot of today you hear the word holiday. That's all that they trying to make a play on the words holy day. It's just combined. Holiday, holy day, it's the same thing. But guess what? On their holidays that you see in America, they ain't doing nothing different than what they do on every other day. Wickedness, sin, everything else under the sun.
Ain't nothing holy they doing.
So what's holy about it? So you got to remember that when you're saying that you keeping a day holy. So even if the so-called Christians today who worship Sunday, if they were to say that's a holy day, well, they should be separate. But they go, where do they go right after Sunday service? To Luby's or somewhere to eat. They going out to eat, cooking, big meals cook on Sunday. But most people do Sunday dinners. That's not a holy day. You're doing the same thing you do every day. You're cooking and doing the same
Lord
stuff.
say don't spend no money on the Sabbath.
So just remember that when he's saying holy, it means separate. It's something totally different than every other day of the week. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Well, let me see how far we're supposed to be. 35, 1 through 15. Verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. That's like he say, some people go to Luby's, all that right after they eat. Eating a warm meal right after
Grandma
church.
making a big Sunday dinner.
Come on, y'all. Y'all got the wrong day of the week. The only reason why we're going through this, we're trying to give sense and cause them to understand what you read. Can't be out here saying you follow God, you love God, but you're doing the opposite of what God telling you to do. So ye shall kindle no fire throughout your inhabitations upon the Sabbath day. And Moses spoke unto the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, Take ye from among you an offering unto the Lord. Whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it. Offering of the Lord, gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram skin, dyed red, and badger skin and shittim wood and oil for the light and spices for anointing oil and sweet incense. I'm going to go down a little bit. I don't think I was supposed to, I just wanted to read that first part about the Sabbath. 21, 1 through 6, Exodus 21, 1 through 6. Exodus chapter 21, verse 1 through 6. Now these are the judgments that thou shalt set before them. He's talking to Moses to set before the children of Israel. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. So you see the words buy a Hebrew servant in our 2016 mind state. We're thinking about slavery. But nah, this is basically a job. This is basically a job that's going on. He's buying a servant. And how long he's going to serve? For 6 years. That's the proof right there. It's like an NBA contract. The contract for 6 years. The 7th year, you're a free agent. You can go. Free for nothing. When they're a free agent, do they owe anything? They take whatever they earned and they leave. For if he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him.
That don't sound like regular slavery. Because regular slavery, they not letting you go and letting you and your wife go. So this should tell you either clues that this ain't just regular. This ain't slavery that we talking about when he says a Hebrew servant. Like he said, it's just a job. Because in slavery, did they let you or your wife just go out? No.
They kept your seed. They did whatever with your wife. Then they, God forgive me for laughing. They did whatever with your wife. When y'all had kids, the kids wasn't no free man. He was born into slavery too. They'll ship him to somebody else. And it was basically a chain of command. This is letting you know that the form of slavery we went through, this is not the same as what we're reading right now. This isn't slavery at all. So verse 4, if his master had given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. So if his master giving him a wife, and she bore him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be the master's, and he shall go out by himself. I don't understand now. And
click on masters. Go up, click on masters.
Owner.
Lord, master, owner. If he given him a wife, and she born him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master. Because it was the master's. He gave that wife to him. It was rules to things back in those times, man. It's different than 2016, man. We can't think about it in our minds of how we live in today. At that time, that was part of the law. But listen, read verse 5.
Yeah. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. So remember the master bought this guy, and the contract's only good for 6 years. The 7th year came. Now this 7th year, he like, I don't want to go. Why? I love my master, my wife, and my children. Everything is good who I'm working for. It's like you got a good ass job. in the 7th year up. Technically, according to the God, I can't make you extend this to the 7th year, past the 7th year. He like, man, it's good. I like this job. I'm good where I'm at. Then his master shall bring unto him the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, or unto the door post, and his master shall bore his ear with an awl, to pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So that's basically, let's find out what an awl is. A-U-L.
It's like a ear, a piercing or something. It's a piercing.
That's the thing that they use to pierce the ear. Well, anyway,
They pierced his ear pretty much to let you know that he was gonna be serving him.
so back in those days, if you see somebody, it's a particular, like one of these. If you saw this in somebody's ear back in the day, you would know that this guy was a servant for somebody else. But how long would he be serving that guy for? In verse 6 say, he shall serve him forever. So I bet you they really considered that. And when that 7th year hit, like, hey, is this a guy that I think I can work for forever? Or there was a lot of free agency going on where people had to work for somebody else. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maid servant, she shall not go out as a men servants do. If she please not her master, who have betrothed her to himself. To engage for marriage. So if she was engaged to her master, but she didn't please her master during the engagement, then shall he let her be redeemed, to sell her into a strange nation. He shall have no power, seeing he had dealt deceitfully with her. So let's think about that. Why would the Bible say, if this lady is engaged to her master, why he's saying that he's dealing deceitfully with her by giving her over to a strange nation? First of all, somebody is strange to you, that's your wife. Y'all supposed to be together. It ain't no date in Israel. This lady here thinking they're gonna be together forever. Like this, she's looking at this dude thinking, yeah, this is the guy she's doing what she's supposed to do.
But he's just not pleased.
Yeah, he's just not pleased with the woman for whatever reason. Sell her off to a strange nation. And if he had betrothed her unto his son, and if he had betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. So if he like, this was my girl that I was supposed to be engaged to, but now I'm giving it to my son, he got to treat her like his daughter now. It ain't no more that you was my fiance, this and that. You got to treat her on the level of, this is my daughter-in-law. And if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish. So if he has one wife, he takes him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty shall not diminish.
Still gotta take care of that one.
So the Bible already told us man and woman shall be man and woman shall cleave unto each other and shall be one. Now he's saying, for whatever reason, if you get you another wife, he's not saying it's okay for you to get another wife. This is a if, and we're going to prove it. We just proved how they said if he deals deceitfully with her. He's naming all of the bad stuff. But if you do something bad, this is what you got to do. So now he's talking about if you get another wife, which is something bad that you aren't supposed to do. Her rank, the first wife's raiment and duty, you shall not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, so if the Lord told you to do these three things and you still don't do that, then shall she go out free without money. She like, I'm out of here. The Lord ordained her to do whatever she want to do, because he ain't dealing with her wisely, according to the Lord. We're going to prove. We're going to keep reading down to prove. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. Is it cool to hit people and put them to the point where they die? No. If a man lie, not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee to a place whether he shall flee. So if he mess over somebody, but the God don't deliver him into that person's hand he messed over, God will appoint him a place that they can go lay and rest and flee. But if a man come presumptuously unto his neighbor to slay him with guile, subtly, like just kill him for no reason on some slick stuff, thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die. So if this man killed this man on some sneaky sly stuff, that man got to die for a sin back in those days. And he that smiting his father, the word smite mean hit. He that smiting his father or his mother shall be put to death. He that stealeth from a man or selleth him, or if he found he be in his hand, he shall be put to death. He that curses his father or his mother shall be put to death. So he's talking about all this bad stuff.
These are judgments.
All of this bad stuff in the same topic they talking about if a man get another wife. And he's telling you exactly what you have to do. This is stuff that we shouldn't be doing. But if you do it, God says this is what you got to do because you done it. Now he's going basically off into the stuff that if you do, you're going to be put to death over. It's certain sins, certain judgments was with them. Not all the sins was required for you to be put to death.
And some stuff you couldn't just sacrifice no animal for.
Exactly.
So he letting you know, man, he's just like bylaws. It's like laws and bylaws and laws after laws, just like in the government, man. It ain't just one set law for everything, man. If you do this, then this happens. If you do this, then something else may happen. There's different levels to it.
Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. If I punch a brother in his eye and his eye fall out, can I go to God and bring a turtle, bring a dove or something, an animal to sacrifice the animal and say, God forgive me? Nah, your own eye had to come out. So it was certain sins that an animal sacrifice, certain sins you got to be put to death. There's certain sins, whatever you did, got to be done right back to you. If you wound somebody, you got to be wounded. That's why we reading these verses. Just because you read that, should we go out hitting people in the eye? Should we go out hurting other people? No. Just because you read that if you have a multiple wife, you can't point to that and be like, oh yeah, see that? You got to read the whole content. Did I read 18 through 19?
Yeah. No, you didn't read that.
If a man strive together and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed. So we fighting. It's to the point where you ain't died, but you bedridden. You keep it. He said he died not, but keepeth his bed. This man is in intensive care. That's what we call it now, intensive care unit. If he rise again and walk abroad upon a staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. So this was like that happened today, right? If somebody, you get in a fight with somebody and it's to the point, or you hit somebody for no reason, it ain't like you just beat him up. You cause him to the point where this dude is bedridden. He can't go to work. That's loss of pay, right? Loss of time. You got to do what? You got to pay for his loss of time, that wages of work that he normally get on a daily basis. You got to pay for that. And shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. So do you pay for it for a week or 2 or 3? However long it takes for that man to be healed, man. It's like short-term disability, long-term disability. But instead of having an insurance company, you was that man insurance. You caused it. You got to pay for that. So like I said, just because we reading this in the Bible, that don't mean that we should have been going around hitting people, jacking people up. But if it came to that, you got to pay for whatever expenses, wages that man normally would earn. Chapter 22, verse 28 through 31. We reading this to cause understanding. We cause understanding where these people get this stuff from. This is the only way society will work. They need short-term disability, long-term disability. But we telling y'all how we did it in the righteous way. We didn't need no insurance company. We didn't need the government. That's all that is a form of big government. Obama made everybody get insurance now. Imagine if we all practice the laws of God. That will stop you from jacking somebody up now. Just imagine that you can't afford to pay somebody else wages like that. You'll think twice about hitting somebody like that because there's a consequence behind everything. So 28 through 31. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Is he talking about gods in a spiritual form?
Talking about the rulers, judges.
There you go, all the way at the bottom. Judges. So thou shalt not revile. To esteem, to slight.
Despise, curse.
Yeah, despise. What you see? Yeah, curse. There's a lot of people, these same people that we watch videos every day. They the only reason why you in the truth. And you get a little understanding, a little bit of understanding. Now you trying to turn around and crap on the same people that taught you, that you all got your own understanding, who taught you who you were. You ain't even know who you were. So man, thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Show some respect, man. Even if you don't agree with everything they say. Ask God to forgive them, or God to show them, or God to show you some understanding. Don't think of yourself so high-minded, man, that you got a little knowledge. That now you cursing the rulers of thy people. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of the ripe fruits, and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give up unto me. So give God the first of everything you got. Likewise shalt thou do with the oxen and with the sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam, and on the 8th day thou shalt give it unto me. This is another part. And ye shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall they eat any flesh that is torn of beast in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. To this day, we don't eat no food. We see an animal already dead that's torn into pieces. We don't grab them pieces and take it home and put it in the pot. 23:18, one verse. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain to the morning. I don't think this is good. Let me see.
No, verse 8. Go to verse 8.
This verse 8.
That's what you're
basically there's a Bible verse where it says that he don't accept money of prostitutes. Might have to find that on another lesson. But we can read 8. It's basically saying that to thou shalt not take no gift, for the gift blinded the wise and perverted the words of righteousness. Make sure it ain't here. We're going to move on to 25 and verse 26, Exodus 23. Must have got the wrong verse. The wrong chapter. Yeah, here it goes. We'll try 18. I'm going to read 22. Exodus 22, verse 22. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry unto me, I will surely hear their cry. So there's a lot of people out here that like to take advantage of widows and fatherless children. Homosexuals prey on fatherless kids out here. Business people prey on fatherless kids. All these kids that's going into the child trafficking, they being preyed on by certain people. But he's really talking to the Israelites right now. If we get caught up into these scams and stuff where we oppressing widows, meaning women that don't have their head in the house no longer to protect them, or fatherless children, if we afflict them in any wise, and these people that's blameless start crying unto the Lord due to the injustice done against them, the Lord gonna hear their cry, and this wrath shall wax hot, and he will kill you with the sword. And your wives shall be widows, and your children shall be fathers. So he a just God, man. You out here trying to do this to other people, he gonna kill you with the sword and make your family go through that. Gonna read Exodus 24, 7 and 8. Moses, proof is verse 6. We're going to read 7 and 8. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord has said, we will do. If you read all those chapters we just read, all of if this, if that, if this, if that, do this, do that, do this, do that. So we get to the point where he finished reading it to all the people, to all the Israelites. And they said, all that the Lord have said, we will do, and be obedient. Nehemiah opened up the book of the Lord in the streets of all the Israelites. Basically the same thing. And then Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord had made with you concerning all these words. Same thing, man. That's what we doing to this day. We ain't sprinkling no blood. We all coming together. We all reading to do this, do that, do this, do that. This is all generation. So Exodus 31, 12 through 17. And the Lord said unto Moses, saying, speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that do sanctify you. So that's why everybody don't keep the Sabbath. Because who the Sabbath dealing with? He says, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. This has nothing to do with y'all nations right now. This is a sign between the children of Israel and their God. That ye may know I am the Lord that do sanctify you. So don't be getting into conversations with these heathens about the Sabbath. They don't know what the Sabbath is. This ain't got nothing to do with them. Ye shall keep the Sabbath thereof, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles, it ain't holy unto everybody. It's holy unto you. It has meaning to us. This registers with our spirit, man. Everyone that defiles it shall surely be put to death. For whoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. The one that ain't keeping the Sabbath, they gonna be slowly dying. It's gonna be Israelites out here keeping the Sabbath, but the ones that ain't, they gonna be cut off from among his people. Whenever you hear the word cut off in the Bible, that means death. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy unto the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath. That's a clue right there. Who keeping it? The children of Israel, man. To observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. These are the verses we got to read, man, when they try to tell us the Sabbath is not Sunday. This is a perpetual covenant from generation to generation. He said in 17, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. Why he keep saying that? If I got to tell you something over and over again, hey, I'm about to go out of town, but before I go out of town, take out the trash. Now remember, I'm going out of town. When I go out of town, take that trash out. Take that trash out. Why he keeps saying that over and over? He's stressing something, man. He could have said it once and kept rolling. He said it about 2 or 3 times in the same space of these little verses. It's a sign between, verse 17, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and the earth. Got to remember the title of the lesson. Gave sense and caused them to understand and read. We're going to make sense of why we're keeping the Sabbath and why everybody, the world ain't keeping it. 17, to the double quote. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested, and he was refreshed. If y'all living in this world we in, man, talk about it, man. About how we need that rest on the 7th day.
You gotta get a mental and spiritual refreshing of your mind, and every week. That's why we do this every week. Come together on the Sabbath. The Lord is giving you that strength. Remember, He said that it's the Spirit that quickeneth. So these words are the Spirit of God. And when He says the Spirit of the Lord quickeneth, it means it makes you alive. It gives you strength to go on another 6 days so you can do the rest. Because it's hard. You go to work from morning and evening. You pick up your kids. You got to make food for them. You got to make sure the house is taken care of. It's a lot you got to do throughout the week. And that's just a little bit of it. Not to mention, we already dealing with the curses of being Israelites, is, having to watch over our backs every day from enemies and just everybody that's against us anyway. So just imagine all of that takes a toll on your mind, spirit, body. You have to come together on the Sabbath day as believers to get that rest. Because what's it going to do? He said, just like the Lord was refreshed, it's going to refresh us also. It's going to refresh us, and we're going to understand why we're doing this. It brings us back to saying, all right, we got to go through this because at the end, we're going to get the glory, man. We read earlier, the glory pertains to us. The covenants pertain to us, the promises. That's what we living and doing this for. It's for those promises that we're going to get in the end. But we got to endure until the end.
Just imagine, before you knew about the Sabbath, all that time you was working on a Saturday and working on some of us working 7 days out the week, and they wondering why they damn near going crazy. Their body ain't getting no refreshing, your spirit ain't getting no refreshing. You just out here like a damn animal working 7 days straight for damn 8 to 12 hours a day, man. mentally you going crazy, spiritually you going crazy. And God gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communion with him unto Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, 2 tables of stone written with the finger of God.
Whoa, go back. Don't just gloss over that, man. We gotta read that verse 18, man. When they say, let's read it. 18 it says, and he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon the mount. So at the end of this conversation and them talking and him giving them these laws of testimonies, he gave them 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written by what? With what?
Finger of God.
The finger of God wrote these laws. So if for anybody that says this is the white man's book, or the white man wrote this book,
or the laws of Moses, Moses made them laws.
God wrote this with his own fingers. God wrote this Bible. Don't get it twisted, man.
Y'all seen Moses when that thunder thing hit the stone and all the words was on there? Wow.
So remember, man, this all these laws that was given, this ain't no man-made law, man. This was written by the finger of God. That should let you know. This ain't just no regular. This ain't nothing regular, man. It's something spiritual.
Go to these verses when they try to talk down. Exodus 34, 27 and 28. And the Lord said unto Moses, write thou these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Israel. And he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. So he was with the Lord, said, write these words down. He wrote them on the table, 10 commandments. It was 40 days, 40 nights. He didn't eat or drink. Matthew chapter 4, 1 and 2. Where were they? In Mount Sinai, in the wilderness. So that was Moses. Now we're going to get to Christ. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungry. So we went here to show that just how Moses was in the wilderness and he fasted 40 days and 40 nights, Christ did the same in the wilderness. I wonder, did he go to the same wilderness that Moses was in? He fasted 40 days and 40 nights. I ain't trying to say that Moses was tempted by the devil like Christ was. I'm just correlating that Christ came in the flesh and did some of the same stuff that the other people did. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a short lesson today. We just reading. Sometimes we always talk about keep the laws, but we don't read to the people the laws. So that's why we went to all of these Exodus verses to see exactly why they was doing what they was doing with some of the laws that we should be keeping. If you do something wrong to somebody to the point you hit them and you jack them up, man, you gotta look out. And that's an Israelite brother. You gotta look out for them brothers, man. These laws ain't done away with.
And what you gotta remember is that for a holy person, a person that's lawful and doing right, the law is not really for them, man. The laws is for sinners, man. The laws is for people breaking them. That's why he had to make all this stuff, because we was a hard-headed people, man. We've been like that since we was given the laws. We turn around, we'll be given the laws, we'll say, all right, we'll keep them, and then we turn around and we start doing what we want to do. But guess what? There's judgments for all of that. But thank God that he loved us so much and showed great mercy on us that even through it all, he gave us a way out, man. All you got to do is repent, change, and do what's right, man. So the laws is not made for lawful people, because you gonna do right. But it's for the people that's out here just thinking they can do what they want to do. That's who the laws are really for. Like when Christ came, he said, man, I'm coming to the sinners, man. I ain't coming for the people that doing right. I'm coming for the ones that ain't doing right, because I need to get these people right.
Yeah. So may the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his holy word. Thank everybody for joining us again. Please join us the next Sabbath day. Shalom. May God bless.
Shalom.